Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to crochet a ruffle cat beanie. This tutorial was requested by one of us, and I kind of ran a poll on here asking you guys if you would want a tutorial for this cat beanie. And I stipulated that once we get 50 responses, I would create a tutorial. Sadly, I think we got only 28 responses, but come on, that beanie is so fire. I had to look for the creator of the beanie, the original beanie, so I can give them credits in this video, but sadly I couldn't find the creator. If you know who the creator of this beanie is, leave them in the comment section so I can give them their due credits. So I made a beanie for myself. This is mine. And I decided to come on here and make the tutorial regardless because this beanie is so fine. The reason why I had to do the whole poll thing is it takes a lot of time, effort and energy in making this video for you guys. So I wouldn't want a situation whereby I create a tutorial and it doesn't get any views at all. That means my time, effort and energy will just go down the drain. So you can as well send your tutorial requests to my DM. Please send to IG. I'm really not active on the other social media platforms as I am on IG, and would run a poll on YouTube. If there are more people that would love to see the tutorial, I would go ahead and create the tutorial for you. Now, let's make the cat beanie. So for this tutorial, we would need two types of yarn. So a chunky yarn and a lightweight yarn. So some people like to refer to this type of yarn as a fingerling yarn or a lace yarn. I don't know, but this is a lightweight yarn. It's very thin, and it's thinner than a DK weight yarn. If your aim is to get the exact type of ruffles as seen on the picture, you would really need a lightweight yarn, because any yarn thicker than this would make it puffy. And for the chunky yarn, I didn't have any, so I decided to double my 4-ply milk cotton yarn. So both of them are 4-ply and 50 grams each. And this is going to be enough for the top part of the beanie. So if you have a chunky yarn, I would advise you use that instead of doubling the yarn. But this works. This works. That's how I made this. For the hooks, you'll be needing a 6mm hook and a 3mm hook. We'll be needing the 6mm hook to make the body of the beanie to the ruffles. And we'll be using the 3mm hook for the straps here. Okay, with that by the way, let's get to measurements. Now, in order to start making your beanie, the measurement you would need is the measurement for the circumference of your head. I'll be leaving a diagram on the screen from Pinterest to teach you how to take the measurement if you don't know how to. I'll also be leaving the standard measurements if you don't want to go through the stress of wrapping your tape around your head. Another method that works is to make as much chain as you want, then wrap it around your head and see if it fits. And once it fits, you stop making chains. So for me, the circumference of my head is 22 inches. To begin, we're going to start by making a slip knot. If that was too fast for you, you can decrease the playback speed and see how to do this in a slower pace. So once you've done that, you're going to go ahead and make as much chains that measure up to the circumference of your head. So mine is 22, so I'd have to make as much chains that measure up to 22. A very important thing to note is while you're making your chains, chain loosely. I am done making my chains. I did a total of 64 chains, and this measures 22 inches. So when you're done with your chains, chain 2 extra, yarn over and turn your work. So you're going to skip the 2 chains that you just made, and we'll be working on the back loop only for row 1. So normally we would go into the chains like this, but now we'll be working into the back loop. So skip 2 chains and go into the next chain, the back loop of the next chain, and make a double crochet. Yarn over and pull up your loop. You should have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Yarn over, pull through the remaining 2 loops. And that's how to make a double crochet. So we're going to make 1 double crochet in each of the back loop of the chains till we get to the very last chain here. So I've worked till I have 1 chain remaining. I want to show you guys how to finish up your row 1. Now to finish up, yarn over and insert your hook into the back loop like we've been doing. Yarn over, pull through and make a double crochet. Now do not place any stitch into your slip knots. This is the slip knots that we made earlier. Do not place any stitch into here. And that's it for row 1. At the end of row 1, you should have the same amount of stitches as your foundation chain. This chain 2 here doesn't count as a stitch. So when you're counting your stitches, don't include the starting chain, which is the chain 2. So for each row that would make, the chain 2 won't count as a stitch. Now for row 2, chain up 2. Remember, this doesn't count as a stitch, and turn your work. So you're going to make a double crochet into the very first double crochet stitch here. And would make 1 double crochet in each of the stitches till we get to the end of the row. Now let's finish up row 2. Remember, the chain 2 on each row is just our starting chain. It doesn't count as a stitch. So now yarn over and make a double crochet into the top of your last stitch. So now repeat row 2 till the length of your beanie measures 6.5 inches. So guys, I'm done with mine. I did a total of 10 rows and this measures 6.5 inches. Now, the next thing we are going to do is to attach both sides together. And we're going to be doing that with slip stitches. If you're more comfortable using your darning needle, then you can make use of your darning needle. To attach both sides together, insert your hook into the first double crochet that you made on your last row. Do not insert your hook into the starting chain here or into the first double crochet. Then yarn over and pull up a loop, then pull that loop through like so. Now insert your hook into the double crochet stitch here and into the chain 2 starting chain here, the first chain, and yarn over, pull through to make a slip stitch. So now we're going to go into the double crochet stitch again and into the chain 2 for the last row and make a slip stitch. So now we're going to repeat this throughout till we get to the last row here. Now into the next row, insert your hook into here and in the other panel, insert your hook on top of that stitch. Make a slip stitch. Now you're going to go into the chain here and into the double crochet stitch on the side and make a slip stitch. Into the last chain here and into this double crochet stitch. Make a slip stitch. So just repeat till you get to the end of the row. So let me show you guys how to finish up. So just insert your hook like normal into here and on top of the opposite stitch on the other side. And into the first chain here and on top here, into the last chain and into the double crochet stitch, the bottom of the double crochet stitch. And now we're going to insert our hook into the very first foundation chain here. And into the last foundation chain here. I'll make a slip stitch. And that's it for the sides. Now we're going to be attaching on top of the beanie. So we've already attached the first foundation chain and the last foundation chain here. So we're going to go into the next foundation chain. And into the next on the other side. This is where we made our slip stitch. So go into the next chain. And make a slip stitch. So now into the next stitch on this side, insert your hook. Into the next stitch on this other side, here, insert your hook. And make a slip stitch. So you're going to repeat this till you get to the end of the row. So I've made my slip stitches till I have 4 stitches remaining, 2 on this side, 2 on this side. Now let's finish up. Now into the 2 remaining stitches. Chain up 1 and cut. We're done attaching. This is automatically going to be the back of our beanie. So turn your work. And we're going to start making the ruffles. So for the ruffles, you're going to identify where you made your slip stitches at the bottom and insert your hook into the middle. So you can actually attach in any stitch. I just prefer to attach from the middle of my slip stitches here. Then go in with your fingerling yarn over and pull through. Now chain up 3. This chain 3 counts as 1 double crochet, and you're going to go back into the stitch, the slip stitch, and make a double crochet. So now go into the next stitch and make a double crochet. Into that same stitch, make a double crochet. So we're going to make 2 double crochet in each of the stitches till we get to the very last stitch here. So I'm carrying my loose end as I work in order to hide it. I've made my 2 double crochet stitches around. So I go to the very last stitch here. Now let's finish up row 1 for our ruffles. Into here, make 2 double crochet. One thing to note is I'm actually crocheting this loosely, you can notice. Now make a slip stitch into the 3rd chain of the starting chain to join. Now chain up 3, and in that same stitch you're going to make 1 double crochet. Now into the next stitch make 2 double crochet. So we're going to repeat what we did in row 1. Make 2 double crochet into each of the stitches till we get to the very last stitch. I've made 2 double crochet in each stitch, and I'm at the very last stitch here. So I'm just going to make 2 double crochet into this stitch. This stitch doesn't count. This is the slip stitch we made from the previous row. Now we'll slip stitch into the 3rd chain to join. Chain up 3, and skip the stitch, go into the next with 1 double crochet. From here onwards till we get to the very last stitch here, we would make 1 double crochet into each of the stitches. So guys, I'm done. I have made my 1 double crochet around till I got to the very last stitch here. Now slip stitch into the 3rd chain of your starting chain. Chain up 1 and cut. Hide your loose ends and we would make the straps for the beanie. For the straps, we're making use of the 3mm hook. So you're going to start by making a slip knot. Then chain up 3. Now skip this chain, go into the next chain, yarn over and pull through. You should have 2 loops on your hook. Now go into the last chain, yarn over and pull through. You should have 3 loops on your hook. So you're going to pull your hook out of these 2 loops. Then hold on to the 2 loops. Yarn over and pull through the very first loop. Now go into the second loop. Yarn over, pull through. Go into the 3rd loop. Yarn over and pull through. Now we are back to 3 loops on our hook. Pull your hook out of the 2 loops. Hold on to the 2 loops. Yarn over, pull through the very first loop. Insert your hook into the next loop. Yarn over, pull through. Then insert your hook into the last loop. Yarn over and pull through. Now pull your hook out of the 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the first loop, insert your hook into the second loop, yarn over, pull through, insert your hook into the 3rd loop, yarn over and pull through. So you're going to repeat this till this is long enough. I made mine till it was up to 40 inches. And when you're satisfied, yarn over, chain up 1 and cut. And you hide your loose ends for the side and the side. Hide it into the cord. So we're going to strap the beanie nest. You can customize the straps the way you like, but I tried as much as possible to recreate the strapping technique from the picture, and this is how I did mine. I'll be showing you guys how I did mine, but take into consideration that you can actually do this in any way that you want, because I'm very sure that for some of us, the number of rows I did might be bigger or smaller than the number of rows that you did. You can also eyeball it if you have more rows or lesser rows and recreate exact design if that is what you're going for. I would skip the first row and go into the second. Then I would skip 3 stitches on the side. You can make yours longer, but this is what works best for me. I will skip 3 stitches on the side and skip 3 stitches on the side. So in total, you should have 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I basically eyeballed mine to figure out the middle of this side. I think the middle of this side is easier because we made our slip stitches, but for here you can either eyeball it or you count your stitches to figure that out. Now you're going to pass your cord into the side here. And you can recount your stitches to double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have a total of 6 here. So after doing that, make sure that your cords have the same length. So I'm going to cross my left cord. You can do this anyhow. We're just basically trying to create a crisscross. And I would maintain the number of stitches in the middle on this side, on the next row as well. So for the second row, I'd like to place it into the top here instead of the side. So I would use my hook for that. And cross this one as well. Make sure you still have the same number of stitches you skipped for the second row here on the side. Crisscross your work like this and pass. Now I would skip 1 row and go into the next, maintaining the same number of stitches on the side here. Now I would crisscross at the back. Skip 1 row and I would pull out my yarn from the side. On your work and repeat. Cool. So I will skip 1 row again and go into the next row. into the side of the third stitch on this row. And repeat for the other side as well. So make your crisscross again at the back. And you're going to skip one row and go into the side of the third double crochet here. I'll do the same for the other side as well. After doing that pull, make this tight enough to your desired taste and just tie. So repeat the same for this side. I'll do mine and show you guys how mine looks. So guys, I'm done with both of my straps. And this is where we're going to be ending the tutorial. You can now go ahead and rock your beanie. And if you found this video helpful, please subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Thank you. And if you ever get to make this, I'd love to see pictures of your work. You can send it to me through any of my social media platforms, preferably Instagram. The link to my socials are in the description box. For now, bye. See you guys in another tutorial soon.